Welcome back, everyone, to another Friday live stream. Hope I got it right this time. Let's see who's here early and on time. We have got Sorry, the thing was stuttering. Vigner. Vigner is here. Vigner was here and is still here. Trucker Kitty. Drive is here. Lobo 1G was here. Matthew Roth was here. Lowrider was here. Adam Buser is here. Mohammed Helmi is here. Trucker John is here. Nightbot is here. So watch P's and Q's. Turn off that caps lock key and don't spit out too many emojis or Nightbot will get you. Just like he did last time to somebody. Brendan Doherty is here. Chapsai is here. I'm seeing you in a minute. Matthew Walters here. All right. We'll do some shout outs in just a moment, but first, no, I'll go ahead and do that because I want to give time for more people to pop in, and then I want to talk a little bit about last weekend and what was up with that and what's going on going forward a little bit. Okay, Isabella Hagloff, Rob Strecker, aka Lurch. Lurch is not in Discord with me today to read your chat. He's got his family stuff going on. Bedrock, our top ATS driver for, you know what, I'm just going to do the names. That's right. Bill Wellburn, because I want to get through this. Nicholas Triple XN, Susan Arthur, Captain Minnesota, Omega Trucking, Trucker Kitty, Norwegian Trucker Nicholas, Big Al 2424, Azimufied, Lobo 1G, Phantom 6767. Is Phantom here today? I know he's been ill lately too. A lot of that going around. Wim 55, Matt Van S, David Long, aka Shorty. Okay, so last weekend I was out sick unexpectedly. I actually took Friday off because I had a lot of work to do. And I was trying to get more of it done. And that work, well, I'll get that in a second. Well, anyway, then I got sick. So actually, I didn't get any work done on Friday. I was sick all day and most of the weekend. But I got a lot of rest, so that was helpful. So let me talk a little bit about why. So over the course of a couple weeks, I've been dealing with a lot of work issues. I've been and for those who don't know, I have my own business. I work at home, and I build and develop and build websites for small businesses. And I hadn't had a job in a little while. Been a lot of little stuff along the way. I've got a few ongoing client things that I do every month that I bill for, but I hadn't had a major job in a little while, and I was scrambling because I suddenly had the opportunity for two jobs, two projects. I'll call them that, projects. And so I was jumping through a lot of hoops, doing a lot of due diligence to try and secure either or both of those projects. Well, that along with the stress of I got videos to do, which I didn't get done. I've got still working on Pugwash's memorial video, which is moving way slower than I expected. And just things in general. Oh, also our community website. You guys know we have a community website. Link is in the description below. And by the way, for those of you who are in our Discord community, whether you're in the VTC or not, visit the community website. See if there's a picture of your truck somewhere on the site. But I've been creating more content to put on there for things that help the community, as well as support pages for these live streams and videos that I put out. And so I've been really busy trying to get that going, and I've got a bunch more work to do on that. It's still a work in progress, but I have a lot more work to do on that, and I'm not going to discuss it today, but I've got a big thing coming up in a couple of weeks that I've got a lot of work to do on the website to get ready for. More on that later, not today, but later. Now, as far as these projects, I did get notified yesterday, I think it was, that we did secure one of those projects. And John 67, welcome to the stream. ProMods, I mean, we're in 158. The next version of ProMods won't come out until sometime after 159 comes out. So this is the current version of ProMods. Anyway, new project, locked up, and now I work with a team, a small team, and I do the website part of that. And I have one counterpart that I work with that works directly with the client. And so we're having to do a lot of stuff behind the scenes to get ready for that, a lot of back and forth. As recently as this morning, I was laying in bed and responding to an email on my phone was something that was kind of timely. So anyway, yeah. So the good news is I landed one of the projects. Bad news is it's going to take a lot of my time. So I'll be working over the next several weeks on that project, maybe even 2. Still waiting for the other one. So, moving on to what we're doing today, a Euro truck. So you guys look at the thumbnail. How many, if any of you, have any of you discovered this Easter egg? Hey, Susan. Up with the sun, are you? For those that don't know, Susan lives in Melbourne, Australia, and it is wee hours of the morning, well, early anyway. Expected it last night after the SES stream, but still 5th. Yeah, no. I was worried that 159 would drop yesterday, because if so, I wouldn't be able to do this live stream. I'd do something else. I'd probably do 159 related live stream. But before the sun, huh? Wow. So yeah, Vigner's right. It's coming out next week. I'm pretty sure, because then a week and a half later, Illinois will drop. So 159 has to come out first. Then so 159 for American Truck Simulator will come out first. And they do that, whichever game is getting a DLC in the very near future, that one usually drops first. And then that gives them time for the general public, meaning us, to report errors and bugs so that they can fix that before they release Illinois. Anyway, so that'll probably be Tuesday, and then Thursday, 159 for Euro Truck will drop. Yep, Victor's right. Usually a week before. Not always, but usually. So, lots of stuff in the works in my part of the world. I've got a lot of things going on. Dirk, welcome to the stream. I recently learned that Dirk lives in the Netherlands. Dirk Jan van Hemmen. Okay. Well, John, we know that Illinois is coming out on the 14th, because they've announced that. By the way, there's a post on the website for that. 509. And John is also in the Netherlands? Oh, that's interesting. You may have said that before. I don't remember, but I've slept since then. So let's get going. Oh, I asked the question earlier. Has any of you discovered this Easter egg? And if so, do you know where it is? Presumably you would. So, Dirk, we're going to get into that right now. So, where are we? We're obviously at a port. Anybody recognize this scenery? Probably not. I wouldn't. Back in the U.S. and making a run from Dallas to Gallup. Okay. Adam is always driving. Okay, so let's look at the map, shall we? We are in Croatia. And I have a load that is going to Crete, right? No. Is it? No. My God, I can't. It's not Crete. What is that island out there? This is Crete, isn't it? What's this one? Cyprus. Thank you. I knew it started with a C. So we are in Croatia, and we are not very far from where this um, hidden Easter egg is located. It's not even on a, I mean, it's a hidden road, but the hidden road doesn't materialize. I'll show you what I mean when we get there. Anyway, this is our route. This will take us right past the entrance to this place. How many of you have been on this route between Dubrovnik and Plos? Place. I drove on this road for the very first time recently, like the other day. And kind of surprised that I never took this route at all, ever. Like all these roads here, I took the ferry into Dubrovnik, but all these roads here were all gray. And some of them still are for me. All right, well, let's get moving. Oh, by the way, we have a load of diesel, 24 tons, that we are taking to Cyprus. Well, Vigner, I'm glad you're looking forward to that. I actually have a mission in mind for you if you're up for it. Poztek is here. Good to see you, Poz. I know you've been dealing with some stuff and haven't been around in a while, so it's good to see you back. Vigner, the question is, this mission, it could be done in American truck or Euro truck. And my first thought was American truck. But I guess we'll have to discuss it and see which one makes sense. Well, Susan, you're not the only one, and you know, Shorty has, you know, made some recommendations for additional challenges. Problem becomes time. Time for me. I mean, because I have to record all the information for all these runs that you guys do. And it's been quite a burden for me. I'd like to find a solution for that. I have one in mind, but it's just a matter of following through. It's not really the thing I had in mind, though. All right, this is actually a very beautiful road that drives right along the coast here. Well, that's not the coast. You're going to see some beautiful scenery on this road. And I am back in my Scania because I do believe this is the truck of the week. I know it's a Scania S, but I don't know if it's this particular Scania S. I don't know if there's more than one. Let's see. Well, Vigner, I'm not going to discuss it here. I was going to try and get with you later. I thought you and Arner might be interested. If anyone problems with ProMods 1.5, well, it's not ProMods 158. It's ProMods 2. I forget. 286 or 261. I don't know. It's the information's in the description below, I believe. Hopefully, I included the version number still. But it is the ProMods that works with 158 and only 158. One second, I need to address something. Hold on a second. So specifically with Dirk, because actually I wanted to get back with Dirk. He's having problems with ProMods. Yeah, John, you can't use ProMods with a beta version of Euro Truck. Yeah, Vigner, I'll get with you later. I don't know if it'll be today, but yeah. So, and good luck, have fun. Welcome to the stream. Wait. Isn't that Pilot Bro? By the way, speaking of Pilot Bro's having a birthday today. So happy birthday to Pilot. So Dirk, heads up. We should probably wait to do anything with ProMods with you until I mean, in a week you can't use the current version of ProMods. So it won't work in beginning next Thursday because you have to it'll break as soon as 159 drops for Euro Truck. ProMods will break. So we should wait until after that. Pilot, yes, Dirk is in the Discord, and he has got a outstanding help ticket for this. Taz has been helping him. Okay, back to the stream, back to the drive. Oh, excuse me. About this road, huh? That bridge over there is quite interesting. We're going to go over it. I didn't see your comment, Pilot. Good, I haven't looked in a while. So, Pilot, are you doing anything fun for your birthday? You know, I don't know when I'm going to get back here, but I'm going to drive through this rest area here. I love coloring in gray roads. Look at that bridge. Somebody commented earlier, it looks like Norway. You know what? It kind of does. Yeah, Pilot's right. More challenges is fun, but managing them is a part-time job. That's a fact. Yeah, when we start a new challenge, it's all exciting until I get up the next day and there's 17 notifications in the challenge reporting channel that I got to address. Every one of those I have to record. I don't record them from that channel necessarily. I use that as a verification that I've got them all, though. Actually record them from the job reports in your logbook. But we are headed south to Dubrovnik, and so we're on this road here. This is the Wiggly Road, and we are coming up on the hidden road. This is where the Easter egg is. Now you notice there's no road barriers, but as I drive onto the road, it doesn't reveal itself as a hidden road. Nice looking tunnel. So, anybody else find this? Hang on, kitty. Tight curves ahead. sure there must be some kind of symbolism here, but I'm sure I don't know what it's about. So what is this? It looks like the Loch Ness Monster coming right out of the rock wall. Tremble before him. Well, it is kind of a scary thing. You come down this road with all these flame fire pots, and there's a dead end. John, this whole area is part of ProMods. So that bridge, all of this road is ProMods. So you do have to have ProMods installed, ProMods Europe installed, to be able to make this trip and to find this Easter egg. Hey, Stubbs and Ken Beard. Yeah, Adam. That was kind of my reaction. Hello. Yeah, I really didn't expect to find this here. And you know what else I was surprised by? There's no room to turn around. So, I mean, it appears to me that you cannot turn around in here and you have to back out. Is it not a gateway? No, I tried driving into it and it just stopped. But let's try it again. That would be something interesting, wouldn't it? But it does remind me of the Hidden Road complex on Svalbard. Nope, dead end. So I would say if you drive down here, you're either going to have to take your chances backing out, or maybe come with just bobtail down here. You could turn around if you didn't have a trailer. One way in, one way out, right. So, gonna have to turn around, use the dev console to turn around. Oops, didn't want to go that much. What do you guys think of this? Anybody know what the symbolism is about? I would not want to have to back out of here. What was that? Those are just reflectors, right? Go either direction for the exit? Seriously? I guess we're pretty heavy, huh? 24 tons. It's stuck in first gear. Why are we stuck in first gear? Here we go. There's second. Come on. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Now we're moving up. When I originally came this way, it was nighttime, so I didn't get to see it as good. They didn't do very good planning in advance. Hey, Thor. Have you found this Easter egg? Here's another neat bridge. Again, looks kind of like Norway. But of course it's not. We do have a viewpoint coming up. I don't know. I think it's on the other side of the road. If we can get it, I'd love to get it. So this is Dubrovnik coming up. And another awesome bridge. What's called the middle? Ah, it's over here. Ah, Dubrovnik. Well, look at the thumbnail for the live stream. That photo. Down that hidden road, that statue of a creature that looks like the Loch Ness Monster. Yeah, John, lots of amazing discoveries. That's one of the things that I like about ProMods. Have you been to the underground tunnel, hidden roads underground tunnel on Svalbard? Now that's cool. Especially when you get to the end of the road, or the end of the tunnel. Bethera, welcome to the stream. Now, by the way, I didn't discover that myself. I learned about it from a post on Reddit. Somebody posted a picture of it because they discovered it, and they included a picture of the map. By the way, speaking of which, I meant to do that. So it's right here. That's where it is, between Dubrovnik and Plos. That's where the entrance to it is. Dirty border crossing. They're leaving Croatia to go somewhere else or into a different country. Bosnia Herzegovina. Yes, they do, Dirk. Trucking through video. Nick, David H74, RD04 Dave, Douglas Williams. Where is Doug or Willie? Dougie. Where is Willie? So is everybody ready for the new 159 update? I'm looking forward to it because there's a couple of features that I like. When I did the beta, I already got used to a couple of things, and then when I went back into 158, I kept trying to use those things, but they didn't work. Like one of them was you want to remove your pins with a keystroke. I love that. I can't believe that wasn't an option all along. Yeah, the Benelo rework. I didn't even, or did I go there? I guess I did. When I had 159 installed. Yeah, I bet you guys would enjoy that. As much as I would enjoy if they would rework the area I grew up in. Or even where I live now, Las Vegas. So I'm looking forward to it, a Nevada rework. Pamp is here with Jeffo in tow. Welcome to the stream, guys. I think you're right, Dirk. Well, it's the next big one anyway. Yeah, I don't think we'll see the UK, and well, we won't see it this year. The question is, will it be next year or 2028? I'm gonna lean on Vigner on this one because he's usually up to speed on all this stuff. I've seen the timeline, but I just don't remember what it was. We are already leaving Bosnia and we are entering Montenegro. This is what it's going to be like passing through states in the U.S. states in the Northeast whenever they get that far. Hey, Nicholas is here. Did you see the notes for Drive's trailer idea? Oh, I gotta find a place. I need to find a sleep trigger. Ooh, I did not even plan this. Very good. Here's one. Not very far away. I think I've got over 3 hours, but let's see. I think I'll look for something a little bit better than that. I don't need repairs. I don't need fuel. We're going right by here, so I'll stop there. So, hour and 16 minutes. Okay. I know you're busy doing a lot of driving. I have been through here before. Guess you could tell that by all the yellow roads. Oops. Oh, I'm not using one of my standard BTT mugs. I forgot. Although I do have this, because I got more coffee in it. I forgot I was using this. This is one of the mugs from a place I used to work at. Jerez del Rio Casino in Laughlin, Nevada. Oh my God, that's good. That's the first casino that I was involved with opening it. I wasn't in management or anything. I was just a frontline guy. I was involved in all the things associated with getting it open after construction was largely completed. Okay, that's good to know, Nicholas. Well, that video trailer for Illinois is pretty good, but it's not mine. That's SES. If I understood you correctly. Eureka. And for those of you who are late arrivals, did you know that today is Pilot Bro's birthday? Also, Wiz. He's not here that I know of. Yeah, big light. Haven't seen one of these in a while. Oh, we got some shout outs done. Oh, Wegner, it absolutely will. I'm really looking forward to Illinois. I mean, I look forward to every new DLC in American Truck Simulator. But I spent so much time driving around Illinois. Lots of memories. In fact, as I've said numerous times, it's after Illinois comes out and all of the map mods get updated that I'll start working on my new series. And the first run of that new series is from Salt Lake City to Chicago. JC Drives, Pancake Man, Ken Beard, Grumpy Gruntpaw Gaming, Road Trip Nerd. Come on, dude. This light's gonna go red again before you get through. Ken Maselman, Hunter Toller. What'd I say? Wiz Nation, John Whitesall, Muhammad Helmi, Jaffo 729, Megatron Decepticon. Salt Lake, it's a city, Salt Lake City. And actually, our home base was in a suburb of Salt Lake City called West Valley City. And in that new series, and I don't know if I'll share it in the videos, probably, but I'll be sharing documentation for all of the runs. My little logbook, my little handheld, well, notebook, basically, where I record all the info that I need, including the shorthand that I used, all the abbreviations and things. Share all that with you guys in those videos. They'll take a little longer to put together than like an exploring video, which I'm also behind on, of course. Well, I probably could have gone. And here is our stop. There. Right up here. I'm not going to nose in. I'm just going to stop right here. Let's see. Do trucks deliver to Lower Wacker Drive in Chicago? That sounds familiar. I saw it in the trailer and like to know what company is there. Well, so do I now. Now I want to look it up. Map. East Lower Wacker Drive. Well, you can look it up on Google Maps and see for yourself. But I'm looking right now, and looks like it's mostly just hotels. And Northwestern University No, it doesn't look like it's industrial. It's very near the Navy Pier. I've been there, but not as a trucker. I'm gonna have to go with no. They may drive on the lower Whacker Road, but I don't think there's any industrial sites there that they would deliver to. Nap time? I want a nap. Wigner says when Nemiro accidentally showed the map, he said that the map makers were making another state, so he was allowed to share the map even if it was accidental, with priceless reaction from him and Alex. Okay. I don't know what that's got to do with the map makers making another map. I mean, they're working on South Dakota. And I'm sure they're working on something that they haven't even told us about yet. All right, let's see what we got. We've got, well, we got 2,000 kilometers to drive. We got a long way to go to get to this ferry. But then we've got a long ferry ride, just about as long. So about half of the distance is ferry. So I think I'm just going to sleep without advancing the time because this is not a world of trucks load and I don't want to be late. So 1:22 in the AM. Well, we'll get to watch some stars. What I meant, he said that they're already working on another map that they haven't mentioned yet. He said that about 2 weeks ago. Okay. But what has that got to do with them accidentally sharing the Illinois map? And was it really accidental or was it accidentally on purpose? KO! Welcome to the adventure! Robert Jeppo Jepson, Banff 2020. Gotta need to get those going. So, wait, did I? Why is it routing me back? Did I forget? It's just confused. Weird. I don't have a pin drop, do I? No. There's Willie. Was asking about you earlier, Willie. I am, Willie. Just been really busy playing catch up after being sick all weekend. I don't think it's Willie's birthday. Yeah, Vigner, I did see the I saw that replay. Yeah, I was kind of surprised because they do that. In fact, they even talked about it. Make sure you go show something else on the stream before we go to the map. So that was kind of crazy. What? Oh, for crying out loud. There I was in line for, well, maybe not 5 stars total, but 5 stars on several things. And then I get a speeding ticket. Well, let me try that, Vigner. So if I drop a pin, remove a pin, boom, fixed it, just like Vigner said. Awesome. I'll try to remember that, Vigner. I didn't know that, but it makes sense. So for those of you who weren't here earlier when I talked about it, reason why I got sick, or at least a contributing factor, is just a lot of stress at work, plus stress here, keeping on top of the, well, not really the challenge. The challenge is slowed down enough so that that's not really taking up much of my time. But working on the community website, I tell you what's really been a stressor for me lately is that damn oh my god, really? Go around me. I was gonna have to knock him out the box. The problems we've been having with TrucksBook just really stressed me out because we were missing out on a lot of miles last month for April because of the problems that we've been having with the TrucksBook app, and it would stop tracking the runs. And it's not just a TrucksBook issue. SES made some changes to the game in 158 that created an issue that TrucksBook developer hasn't fully sorted out yet, I guess. It's a multiple issue. Old mods that some people run, that's a small contributing factor, because when you have old mods, and a lot of mods became obsolete with 158, including one of my favorite one, the minimal route advisor mod, no longer is usable and will not be updated according to the mod author. Yeah. So, as you can see by comments in the chat, a lot of people were hit by that. Although, to be fair, Trucker John's, a big part of Trucker John's issue, as I learned, was OneDrive, which I totally forgot to even ask you about. Yeah, so I was pretty stressed over trying to solve the issues, find out what the problem was. You know, we learned that through the TrucksBook forum, people were submitting a lot of help tickets, that if you add the unlimited log launch option in Steam, it at least allows TrucksBook to continue tracking your load, because it works differently than Trucky does. What happens is when you have old mods that don't work correctly, or they don't work well with other mods that you have in your active mods list, they generate errors. A lot of error events. And without that unlimited log launch option for your game, then at some point your log will stop working. It will no longer record events, and therefore TrucksBook no longer tracks your job. So it's a multi-part problem. SES changed certain things in the game, and they're going to do it again. Then mods that no longer work create a lot of error messages, and therefore choke up your game log. Your game log, if you don't understand the game log, every time you fire up the game, it starts writing a new game log, and it lists every event that's happening. And a lot of in the course of troubleshooting this problem, a lot of people were getting game logs with, and it's just a text file, like over 20,000 lines in it of events, not just errors, but a lot of errors, thousands of errors. There's all the normal stuff. You know, every time your game saves, it creates a log entry. Every time, everything creates an event in the log. But when you have tens of thousands of error messages, it clogs it up real fast. And so I was seeing 23,000 lines in those game logs that people would send to me. And of course I can see the mods that you're using when I look at that, and I can see that some people are using really out-of-date mods. And it may not cause your game to crash, but it creates a lot of error messages, and eventually it'll cause TrucksBook to stop tracking. So I wound up creating, and Pilot Bro helped me with the language, and you know, double check the technical aspects of how to resolve the issue. And so, you know, I posted that in the Discord, and we sent a lot of people there to go look at it so they could sort through their issues. I swear I just saw a speed limit of 30 sign back there, but it still says 40 on my GPS. Can I get one of them tickets back now, since I'm going less than the speed limit? Anyway, that was a huge stressor for me. There's another one, 30. Okay, now it says 30. So that and work. So as I mentioned earlier, for the folks that were here earlier, I've been stressing over landing a couple of new projects, new website projects. And so there was a lot of work to go through to do the due diligence to convince the client that we needed to do the thing. In this particular case, this client's website kept getting hacked. There's a lot of open doors, let's just say, and a lot of other issues. The hosting service that they were using is just horrendous. Makes their website load super slow. It's got a lot of outdated underlying code like PHP, if you know what that is. It's just a programming language that the sites use. Anyway, so I was doing a lot of the due diligence to convince the client they needed us to update their website. And I needed the work, so I was stressing over it. Anyway, learned yesterday or the day before that we did in fact land one of the projects. There were two of them. We landed one of the projects. And so now the next set of hurdles have to be overcome to prepare. And I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. The bad news is it's going to take up a lot of my time again. Plus, I need to do a lot of updates on the community website. I have to build something on there that I haven't done yet. I've been dragging my feet. I drag my feet a lot, but really been dragging my feet on a particular thing that needs to get done for that website. And that is to set up to create an email list and capture email addresses from everybody who wants updates. And I need to get it done the next 2 weeks, or at least get enough of it done in the next 2 weeks where I can start collecting those email addresses from people who want to get updates. And the reason for that timeline I'm not going to go into right now, but I will as soon as I'm able to share that with you. On top of everything else, I'm still working on Pugwash's Memorial Convoy video. That's turned out to be a bigger job than I ever anticipated. And the whole time I'm going through and I'm doing that, I'm like, should I really be doing this? Should I be spending this much time on this thing? Yeah. I hate being inside my own head sometimes. Anyway, I have fallen way behind on chat. Yeah, TrucksBook. Yeah, Vigner had trouble with TrucksBook too. I mean, everybody did. Well, a lot of people did. I didn't, because I've always had that unlimited log launch option in my in Steam. I've had it in there for 4 years, so I didn't have an issue. But Vigner had an issue. And before that, Vigner had an issue with Trucky, which was weird because he got dinged for speeding. Not just like, not race miles, but speeding for the criteria that TrucksBook or Trucky uses for hardcore. And it was so crazy, and because Vigner doesn't speed. And so I took the time, and this was more than a month ago. Is that a hidden road? There was no barrier there. There's barriers there. Anyway, I knew Vigner wasn't a speeder, so I literally went back and looked at his route. Fortunately, because the TrucksBook was working at the time, I was able to use TrucksBook to look at what he was doing, and he wasn't speeding. We went through a big rigmarole with Trucky, and it turned out there was a problem with Trucky that I hope has been fixed since. You're right, Thor. I am adamant about getting this done, and it's taking a lot of time. I've never done a video editing project like this before, and it feels like it's over my head a little bit, but I never let that stop me before in the past from getting a thing done. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I put my head down into the wind and plow through it. And that's what I'm going to do here. I mean, I was working on it last night again and questioning everything I have done up to that point. Anyway, just so you know, I'm still working on that. And it's the kind of a project, because of the nature of the project, I don't plan to monetize the video. That doesn't mean that YouTube won't still play ads against it, but I'm not planning to, because it's a special video. So I'm wondering, like, I have a concern, or had a concern, with the other one that I did of his memorial service, because I used the music that was provided and it was all copyrighted, and I was worried about getting a copyright strike, and I did not. And it looks like YouTube is handling copyrighted music a little differently. They said you can't monetize it, and I didn't care, because first of all, I didn't make it public. It's available only through the link that I provided. So, everybody in our community got the link. I think I posted it on the community tab, but I gave it to Pugwash's son to share it with family and friends who wanted to look at it, because the memorial service video was only going to be up for 1 or 2 weeks. I think 14 days or something. But my version of that video will be up for as long as my channel exists. But it won't be public. It's strictly a private video that anybody who has the link can go and look at it. And I did post it. I posted it in Discord. Thought I posted it on the community tab on my channel. Ooh, we got some wiggly roads coming up. That's another thing too. I still want to make some additional merch with things like that related to Pugwash. Coffee mugs, shirts, things like that, and I just haven't had time. And sweatpants for Thor. Well, I'll tell you, Vigner, the fact that, I mean, it's not the reason, but the fact that I'm a Trucky ambassador, I'm a part of the community, sort of, carried a little bit of weight, but what carried more weight was pilot's involvement. And the fact that there were several other people who reported a similar issue, as I understand it, that forced them to have to go in and take a look at it. And as I understand it, he did find the problem. You know what I didn't do is I didn't plan out looking for my next rest stop. But how about these mountains, huh? I haven't been to, I don't know if we're in Greece yet or not, but I haven't been to Greece in a long time. We still have about almost 50 hours of driving, estimated driving time, 65 hours to get the job done. I'm not sure how much the ferry ride is going to impact. Well, Vigner, that actually is something that Caliber was going to be working on. But he also ran into a situation where he had to set driving aside and focus on work for a while. He has a, if I understand it correctly, he has a lawn care business. And it being spring, business picked up for him drastically. And so he's put all of his focus into that recently. I gotta tell you, I'm really enjoying this particular drive. You know, that's another thing too. I've only driven a couple of times in the last, except for, well, I didn't live stream last weekend, but I've only driven a couple of times in the last 2 weeks. Part of that is because, you know, when I drive an American truck, I want to do one of the All States Challenge runs and record it. Well, I got a little bit of setup to do for that, and I need to be kind of alert and awake mostly. And wait, does that? No, there is a barrier there. Blocker, road blocker. And I haven't had the energy. And part of that's from being old, part of that's from being out of shape. Yes, I know round is a shape. Yep, work and family always comes first. Or in my case, work and naps. Family, yeah. Unfortunately, and I really haven't talked about this. And I don't really need to, but I did have another death in the family recently. Whoa, slow down. week ago last Monday. And I'm trying to just not focus on that because unfortunately it's just a fact of life. But it was still a little troubling. Let's see, how much time do I have? 3.5 hours. And I can make it to there, no problem. So we are crossing into whatever this is. I don't even know. North Macedonia. Alvin Savior Gaming, Helisy, Redneck Hero, East Tex Bull, and Dan Lynn. That's all the shout outs. Nicholas, flatbedder for 42 months. We got a turn here? Really? I didn't get called into the X-ray thing, did I? I had to go this way. 42 months. Wow. Not far off from 4 years. Ooh. Vigner, I already have that information. But thanks. And that's not what I was talking about. Have all the countries. Ooh, trailer damage. Lobo, flatbedder for 36 months. Jeez, that's just crazy. With a super chat. Feel a little gifty today. That's funny. 50 Danish krona. Willie, reefer hauler for 40 months. You're right, time flies. Let's see. I think when you first joined, then you were probably 72. Considering you just turned 75 in April or March. 50. 40. Won't dip over. Thank you, Thor. And thank all y'all who have been channel members for any length of time. We got a bunch of old farts. Oh, Grandpa Boomer. Well, that's why, I guess that's why Rashid calls me Grandpa Boom Boom, even though he's older than me, which is kind of crazy. But if a bunch of us are your online grandpas, that makes Willie your online great grandpa, because he's got 10 years on me. 9.5. Close enough to call it 10. Ooh. That means Wiz could be your daddy. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Oh, yes, John. And in this context, you can even drink and drive. Unless you want to get hardcore points, then don't drink and drive. Oh. Oh, a good one, Lurch. We don't have to say who's your daddy. We can say her's your daddy. And don't forget Great Grandpa Willie. Oh my, I just looked at the remaining time. That can't be right. We got a big ferry ride ahead yet. 2.5 hours of driving. That's not right. $1,600 kilometers? No way. As I was taking that turn there that was a little sharp, I kept thinking, well, if I roll over, I can always use toe to road. And then I remembered I'm not driving in the 159 beta. because that's one of the things that I like about that's coming in 159. Toe to road. Alerts, the plan is to. I still haven't worked out what I'm doing for the member stream tomorrow. Hey, there's the first yawn. How far do we have to go? We got 32 minutes to get to the planned stop. You can see more wiggly roads ahead. Big update incoming for both games. Yep, that's for sure. Hey, why don't you come over in this lane? I wasn't using that part. And then brake check me, because no one's done that for a while. Oh, we're not going that way. I didn't want to follow him anyway. Yes, that's another thing too. Detours are gone, at least for a while, once 159 comes out. Thanks for that reminder. That's definitely something to look forward to. I hate detours. I hated them in real life. I hate them in the game. Oh. Nicholas, they're removing the detours feature in 159. It's temporary. They're going to rework it, they say. But we don't know how long that'll be. Just like we're also not getting any World of Trucks events for some amount of time. So there'll be no, cruising Illinois event. $15 more kilometers to that rest stop. Oh. MS detours removed in 159 to be reworked. Okay. Yes. Oh, not hidden roads. We'll still have those as far as I know. Alerts, that's just a function of you as a driver. You have to actually, when you get detoured, you have to look at the map and see what makes sense for a new route. Because the GPS is stupid. It doesn't know. It thinks you just made a wrong turn or missed your turn. So it just gives you the most efficient route back to get back on course. So as a driver, you have to, once you get detoured, you have to look at the map and see what new route makes the most sense. Because it will loop you back if you don't. was supposed to stop back there. Well, I'll stop up ahead. I won't stop at that stop sign. We're coming up on Macedonia? No, leaving North Macedonia, and we're going into Greece. I love the fact that ProMods puts the flags on the map like that, and then it tells you you've entered a new country. In this case, Greece. So we'll get through the border crossing checkpoint, and then I'll pull over to a parking spot. Oh, I think I might want to get fuel too. I see both up ahead. There, don't mind detours except when they happen when you're ready to come off the game and it's a really long one. Sometimes I just ignore it and squeeze past. Yeah. I get it. It is frustrating. But I don't do that because it's not realistic, and I thought there was parking over here. So that should be parking right there. Yeah, I didn't do a very good job of backing into this spot. Obviously, I'm tired. Need a nap. And I've only got 6 minutes left on the clock. Ooh-wee. Got that pretty close. Ooh. Megatron Decepticon, welcome to the stream. I wonder if the rework will make detours impassable but less annoying, or give a penalty for squeezing past. That's a good question. I hope that it does. All you cheaters. Let's have a look at, we've got 45 minutes or 45 hours of driving, 51 hours to get the job in. So, where's our next stop going to be? Can we make it to the ferry? Yes, we can. Yep, we can make it to the ferry and we'll get a bunch of our clock time back. Drive in circles forever on some detours. Yeah, but only if you let the GPS tell you where to go. Yes, Nicholas, it is a realistic trucking thing. Let me go into camera mode. You have all them extra lights on? Oh. Turn them on. I've been stuck with some detours in real life when I was trucking. Sometimes I just got stuck sitting on the freeway for hours. It couldn't move. Other times I had to take detours off onto side roads. Like I shared a photo the other day, sometime this past week, of real life where I had in New Mexico, where we all got routed off the freeway, both directions. That's how bad the accident was. They had to shut down traffic in both directions, and those lanes are separated by a median. So I don't remember what it was that happened, but it was bad enough that traffic in both directions had to go through a side road. Probably they needed the other side shut down for a medevac helicopter, I'm guessing. Anyway, that happens in real life, and it's always annoying, and you can't just skirt past. So, why are they so disliked? Because they're annoying. They interrupt your day. For those of when you're, let me think about it. If you're focused on getting to where you need to go to make your delivery, and then there's suddenly a big disruption and all that, it can make you late. Because if you have to shut down on the freeway, your clock will stop, your driving clock will stop, but your daytime clock doesn't stop. So you are likely not to get as far that day as you thought you were going to be. And yeah, that's what I was saying, that you do have to look at your map, that you can't trust you can't, you're the captain of your ship. You can't just go by what the GPS says. It's not smart enough. If they put a block on it, then that would suck, but if it's just a fine, still going to go through it. Also, I don't understand why they have to temporarily disable them. Why not keep the option until the new system in place? That's a good question. I'm glad they've taken it out, and I'm gonna not like it when they bring it back, probably. But you got to wonder why. Why do they have to take it out instead of just fixing it and then updating it in a future version? Kyle's here, Golden Entertainment. That's little Kyle. Only about 500 kilometers on that last session. When will Iceland DLC be available? I think that's the end of this year or next year. Bigner says later this year. Maybe round Steam sale, Black Friday sale. Well, Iceland won't be on sale when it comes out. So it'll be several months later before they even put it on sale. But other things will be on sale. Okay. Got up on the chat. Let's get going. So 472 kilometers remaining in total. Okay. And a big chunk of that is a ferry ride. I don't know how much. Well, let's just get there and see. I did say something about getting fuel, didn't I? I don't have to get fuel, but it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I'm off of work and having a few drinks after this rough week. I'm glad you're feeling better and back to streaming. Me too. Thanks, by the way. In the end, your job is the same whether you have to take detours or not. No reason to let an unexpected thing on the road ruin your day. Because as pro truckers know, always expect the unexpected. Well, that's correct. But the mission is to make the delivery on time. What just happened? Oh, that was fuel. Instead of pay for the fuel. Thought I was getting another fine for something I didn't notice. Yeah, that's a good point. What Vigner said, they're gearing up for consoles. They want to make it work also with consoles. So for those of us, well, I would say virtually none of us understands what's involved in that process. But that makes the most sense. Something that they have to do to make it work with consoles. And by that way, that's why they've been making some of the other changes that they've been making that makes some mods no longer work. And same thing with TrucksBook having issues because they're making fundamental changes with the game that impacts a lot of other things. Oh wow, Vigner, do you think that was a joke? I don't remember when they announced that. Well, Nicholas, you're absolutely correct, but here's the issue, or the something you don't have to deal with. As an owner operator, if the receiver or shipper for that, the constant, whoever contracted the load, sometimes there's wording in those contracts where there's a late fee. It doesn't matter why. If you're not on time, you get hit with a fee. And if you're an owner operator, you pay that. So that's why. That's why it's a stressor. Because at the end of the day, they don't care why you were late. There was a late fee in your contract, they're going to charge you. So as a company driver, that's not a factor for you to worry about. But it is for the company. And, you know, maybe that's not a thing in Norway. I don't know. But it is in the US. Absolutely. I don't recall ever having to pay a late fee, but I have had to pay a repower fee. And what that means is, for some reason, I cannot continue the job as an owner operator. If I couldn't continue the job because my truck broke down, that's usually when it happened, because my truck broke down. Or if I had a personal emergency and I'm like, hey, I have to go home right now, that kind of thing, then I would have been charged. In fact, at the time, it was like $400 US. Later, they lowered it, but the company would charge me a repower fee as an owner operator. Whoa, this is 40 kilometers. Because they would have to scramble internally to find another driver to take over that load. So I got hit with that 3 or 4 times during my career, and that sucked every time. If you get too many, as a real life truck driver, if you get too many fines, usually speeding, but in general, you could lose your job because it impacts the company's insurance rate. The company has a score. You have a score. The company gets a score. And every time you get a fine for something, depending on what it is, that negatively impacts you as a driver, you actually get points on your license. And so does the company. This is in the US. I don't know how it is anywhere else. And if you're creating too many problems from getting speeding tickets, or you're failing inspections, depending on what it is, then you're getting points on your license and the company is getting points on their record. It's handled a little bit differently, but it still impacts them. And if they get a lot of points, it's going to impact their insurance rates. So you could be fired. Because you become a liability. So I got points a few times. Like my first weekend or my first week out with my trainer, and I've shared this story a few times, that we got pulled into an inspection barn coming back into California, and a mechanical fault was found. It was a broken weld on the trailer. That turned into a fix-it ticket. And I was the one driving it at the time that it was discovered. And so I got the ticket. There was no cost, no fines associated with that. But I got some number of points assessed against my license. And then we had to go get it fixed and re-inspected and signed off on. So that took care of the problem. But the points that I got stayed with me for 2 or 3 years. I forget what. Like it drops off in increments. I don't remember the formula. It's been a long time since I've had to even think about it. But then when I got was it a speeding ticket? Well, I got a speeding ticket in, actually all of my tickets I got in California, now that I think about it. I got a ticket coming down the Grapevine because I was going faster than the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit going down that hill. It's actually in the game. 35 mile an hour coming down the Grapevine. Well, I got a ticket going down that I was definitely exceeding the speed limit. So that was a couple of points or 3 points. I don't remember what it was. It took a while to come off my license, and then I got another ticket south of Barstow, because I wasn't in the right lane. I even argued with the cop. I'm like, that's not what the sign says. The sign says right lane, slow traffic only. And I said, that means that only slow traffic can go in that lane. Doesn't mean I have to be in that lane. Because I was in the next lane over, I think. I said, I'm not slow traffic. I was empty. I was doing the speed limit. And he gave me a ticket for that. When I say I argued with him about it, I was respectful about it, because he wasn't being a jerk or anything. He was a younger guy. And as far as I was concerned, he misunderstood what the signage said. But it could have just as easily have been me that misunderstood, but I know I didn't. So there's that. Wait, is this telling me to go down here? It is, isn't it? Why is it telling me to go down here? By the way, that speeding ticket that I got in the grapevine, I beat that. Because I was a little mad that it happened. Because I wasn't empty. I'm sorry, I wasn't empty when I was going down the grapevine. Had a super light load. And I knew that the speed limit was the way that it was because a lot of trucks would get built up too much speed if they had a heavy load. Anytime I had a heavy load, I would go slow down that hill. There was no gray area for them. So they were doing an enforcement for that area and I got nailed. Technically, they were right. I was speeding. I didn't deny it. I simply denied that it applied to me. Because I wasn't heavy. I think I had like 5,000 or 6,000 pounds in the back. Pounds. It's like 2 or 3 tons. Very light load. I don't remember what it was, but it was a very light load. I'm like, I just want to get around this other guy that is going slow. I got a ticket. But I beat it. Somebody told me about a law firm that specialized in helping, truck drivers beat tickets. So I called them up, paid what they were asking. What they charged me was about the same as if I could have just paid the ticket. But I didn't want the points on my license. Like, screw that. Well, I'm falling way behind. On chat again. I don't even know where the heck I am. I know I'm in Greece, but I don't know where. So Kyle says I used to check in Coke and Pepsi into the grocery store I worked at, and if they were late, it was an issue because we were told a day and time for it to be delivered. It was a big inconvenience if late. Yeah. Yep. Most of it, because in that industry, food and beverage, grocery industry, they work on a big just-in-time schedule. So you got to be on time for that. Although I rarely deliver to an actual retail location. I did a few times. In fact, I even delivered to a grocery store in Las Vegas once. But most of the time I was delivering to a distribution center. But because they work on a just-in-time system, they have schedules. And stuff needs to show up when it's scheduled or you're screwed. And I've been screwed a few times when I was a company driver. Got there late because of weather or an accident or both. Weather-related accident. Then it threw off my schedule, which threw off their schedule, which means when I got there, I had to wait so they could work me in. But yeah, I actually, one time there was a few times I've mentioned before I've delivered to Tractor Supply locations, the actual stores. One time I got chewed out. I wasn't even late. I was in my window. I had a delivery window that I needed to make the delivery within that window. I was within that window. I had 3 deliveries that day, 3 different stores scattered around Kansas. And I got to the third and final delivery, again, in my window, and the manager there was pretty hot because I didn't deliver in the time frame she expected that I would be there. I just looked at her, I looked at my paperwork, and I'm like, I'm not late. Yeah, but I expected you here by whatever the time it was that she expected me there by. And I didn't say anything else. I just shrugged it, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So she unloaded me, signed off my paperwork, and I was on my way. Now, another time I was delivering to a Dollar General kind of a store. I don't remember which one, but one of the dollar chains. And I actually delivered to the store. And I did get there late. And the manager was there. She was pissed. And rightfully so. It was my fault I was late. I don't remember the reason why, but it was my fault. As a matter of fact, Kyle, that was in Pennsylvania, so hopefully that wasn't your store. But she made it clear, and I mean, she was right. She had a crew of guys waiting there to unload me, and I was probably an hour late, which means she was paying a crew of guys to stand around and wait for me to show up. So I just ate that one, meaning I took it. She was mad, and she gave me verbal what for, and I just took it because I recognized that she was right. What are you gonna do? Yeah, Nicholas, that's another thing too. It's a different kind of transport industry. You working the stuff that you do, I think you're probably more industrial. And I did all kinds of different things, but I did a lot of food-related stuff, both when I was doing reefer and even when I was doing dry van. A lot of the stuff was to food, grocery distribution centers like Walmart, different grocery chains. And they had a time slot for you, and you needed to show up for that time slot. So a big operation like that works on a schedule. It's even more important if the stuff is perishable. Like I did some fish loads, which I hated, not because they were fish, but just because I hated going to that place. But when you have perishable food, you have to get it there by a certain time, or the whole load could be rejected. Now you've driven there for nothing. Could have your load rejected, and as an owner operator, I might not get paid at all for that load, which is worse than just a late fee. But if you're an industrial, you're delivering, steel pipes and things to some kind of a business, the timing might not be as critical. Although to a construction site, it can be critical because they work on a schedule. is they need the stuff that they need at a particular time, because they don't like to have a lot of stuff build up on the job site. And so they want to have your stuff delivered when they need it so they can go right into the construction process. I've had a few loads like that. Sound Fixes Pack is here. Sorry, I'm behind on chat, so I'm getting caught up. Okay, Vigner, thanks for clarifying that. I'm glad it wasn't, well, I'm glad it wasn't an April Fool's joke, but I wish it wasn't true also. I like doing the cruising events. Real life hardcore, yeah. Oh, that was my fault. Sorry. Reading chat. Thor says, I came 2 days early with a load of paper to a big newspaper in Denmark. I could not unload until the time I was supposed to be there. Yeah. Because they don't have room in the warehouse. They asked for it when they needed it, and if you show up early, sometimes you can't deliver. That sucks. I don't know if I ever had that problem for more than a few hours. But you remember, you know, we've been to a lot of, and mostly I think it happens in ProMods Europe. But you go to a lot of these border crossings and there's a line of trucks waiting to cross the border. I've been to Walmart distribution centers with a line of trucks outside waiting to get in. They look just like that, and the reason that they have a window and they're live unloads, so they won't take them more than like an hour early, usually, depending on the place. If they got you know, room to unload you and take you, they will. But if they've got a lot of other people that are scheduled ahead of you that they're working in, you got to wait. You can't even get in. And even when you do get into a place like that, you know, in your window, and you go in, and if you're doing a live unload, then you go in, you park in the staging area, and you walk to the receiving office, check in, give them your phone number, and they will text you when it's time to come in and get your assignment. And you could be sitting out there in your truck for an hour or two waiting for that. Back at a few places, you remember those, you ever gotten one of them square pagers that flash and light all up and vibrate and stuff at restaurants when you're waiting for a table? A lot of places did that. That I went to, they gave you one of those to put in your truck. You just set it up on your dash, because then that thing starts vibrating. It makes an awful racket, and you wanted to hurry up and get inside because it would just keep doing it. You got to bring it with you, and it would keep flashing and vibrating until you got inside and they took it from you. We're 45 kilometers from the ferry landing at Athens. Did you eat some grapes on the traffics? No. I don't know why they call it grapevine. Probably because of the twisty, turny road. I don't know. There is a grapevine road, so maybe that's where I got the name. Yeah, it is easy to speed in California, but I didn't get a ticket for going over 55. I got a ticket for going over 35 on a downhill. The 35-mile-an-hour speed limit is just for trucks. It was a safety thing. I always went over 55. I never got a ticket for it because the cops weren't really looking to hassle truckers who were going over 55 unless they were driving erratically. They were, for the most part, they were after the car drivers, the four-wheelers, who were speeding. Like if the speed limit was 65, if they were doing 70 plus, I don't know what the cutoff was, but they were driving excessively, then they were pulling them over. I saw the highway patrol pulling over a lot of four-wheelers. I hardly ever saw them pull over a truck. I mean, it happened, but sometimes it was just for a random roadside inspection. Sometimes they decided to bust a trucker for speeding. Or there was some other reason I'm not aware of. Wiz is her. Happy birthday, Wiz. Yeah, if you're not in most of the business world, especially in the military, if you're not early, you're not on time. I was always late. uh John asks, but if you go downhill, how will you brake at 35? Well, the problem is if you have a heavy load and you're going down a hill, you pick up speed fast. That's why you have engine brakes. But they want you to start by keeping the speed down to begin with, because you're less likely to get out of control or wreck as badly if you're started at only 35. But no, it actually, the speed limit did make sense for that hill. It's steep going down. Well, both directions it's steep, but it's the going down that's the problem. Glad you're her. Let's see. I heard Wiz is going to make some bootleg BTT merchandise with that 3D printer. Gotta be careful you don't break copyright, Wiz. Well, we're getting into daylight. Oh. And I believe this is the outskirts of Athens. Ooh, speed limit dropped to 50. Hate it when that happens. Ooh, that's still kind of hot. These are great for keeping your coffee hot and your cold drinks cold. And I'm speeding again. Ooh, red light, red light, red light. So we're coming up to the ferry. I think once we get off the ferry, we don't have very far to go. But right now, it's saying we have 1,100 kilometers left on our trip. And if you consider that a big chunk of that is the ferry ride, that's correct. Six hours, wow. Kyle, this is the one with the straw. Or it comes with a straw. I think it's a metal straw. There's the ferry. Yeah, it's got a little notch in the opening for a straw. Not a dedicated hole for the straw, but just a notch in the little, I don't know what you call it. Yeah, this came with the straw. I don't use it though. I can't imagine drinking coffee through a straw. But if it was a cold drink, that'd be a different thing. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Ooh. Going? Nope. 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 Yes. I forgot to look where we're going, but yes, we're going to Cyprus. How long this is? 36 hours travel time. Said, you think the strut? Ew, with Corona? Okay, we have an hour and 13 minutes of driving remaining. Drive on the left side of the road. Oh boy. But we've got 7 hours left on the job, so we are good to go. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Nobody saw that. Swing wide. It's a trailer. And we got a bunch of time back on our clock too. So we got 10 hours, over 10 hours. We can do it. Yes, I've been there before and didn't remember. Well, Kyle, it would definitely work with water or any cold liquid. Vigner says, I see that you have a mod issue. I saw that on a trailer that you passed before going onto the ferry. What was the issue? Was it pink windshield or something? Missing texture. this stream is going a whole lot longer than I expected. But it's been a great drive. Yeah, we've had a great conversation about some things I never expected to discuss. A pink trailer. Maybe it was supposed to be pink. But I guess I'll have to go back and look later. You see the delivery flag. What is this place? Stemma? What do you want to bet that we're up on the back hill there? Yep, that's where we're going. This is where that side mirror comes in handy. I want to check and make sure we're not too close to the fence. I don't think we're lined up quite right. 1,286 kilometers. Long drive. We'll just pull out here a little ways and park out there. I'm going to take a quick look at the map. Just a quick reminder that this version of ProMods will break next week when 159 releases. I should probably head over here to Nicosia. I could go back here. Whatever. Anyway, I'll do one of those. 497 hardcore points and 4 stars. I'll bet I got hurt by the speeding tickets that I got. Al says, hey, Boomer, I was glad to catch part of the stream. I'm going to pick up a pizza when I get back. I'll rewatch from this point. Well, this point is the end. Start from the beginning. Or maybe you were here. I don't even remember if you were here at the beginning. But pizza sounds good. I had pizza for dinner last night. How much pizza did I have? All of it. Yeah, it was the ultra thin crust, so not much to it. Anywho, 3 stars for the fines and 3 stars for mess. Oh, that's it. Okay. But I got 4 stars overall, so that's pretty good. Yeah, it wasn't that heavy. What was it? 24 tons. So would have needed to be 30 tons or more, I think, for 5 stars on mass. Whatever. It all worked out. But that's going to do it. Thanks for riding along with me today. It's great to be back in the saddle. I really miss driving. So I hope to do more driving going forward. And we are starting in a new month. We did pretty good last month. I'm not going to get into all that now, but other than to say that I think we placed 16th TrucksBook for American Truck Simulator. I don't remember what it was in Euro Truck. And we finished for ATS hardcore points 3rd place on Trucky. We were in 2nd for quite a bit of that. But okay, Sonny. And what Banff says. Have a good night, everyone. And we'll see some of you tomorrow. Well, hopefully most of you tomorrow. Thanks for again. See ya.